Since the beginning of the week, Forrester Creations has been surrounded by a sense of unpredictability. The illustrious design brand, which has been a consistent presence in the soap opera ever since it emerged, has encountered its share of difficulties. However, the stakes appear to be higher than they have ever been this week. Eric Forrester, the father of the family and the driving force behind the corporation, is becoming increasingly anxious about the path that the business is taking. Ridge Forrester and his son Thomas are having a disagreement behind the scenes on the creative vision that ought to be implemented for the forthcoming fashion line. Although Thomas's recent dark turn has caused him to become estranged from many members of his family, he is resolute in his intention to leave his mark on the new collection. Ridge continues to be skeptical by his assertion that his vision represents the future of Forrester Creations, but he is stubborn in his belief. Ridge says to Thomas at the beginning of the week, with a tone that is laced with frustration, "I've given you chances, but this isn't just about creativity. The issue at hand is one of responsibility. The business, which is our legacy, is under jeopardy." Thomas, unconcerned, comes back with a shove. "You don't understand, Dad," she said. "There is a change occurring in the fashion industry, and if Forrester does not adapt to this change, we will fall behind." One can feel the tension that exists between a father and his son. Ridge is aware that Forrester Creations appears to be at a crossroads, despite the fact that he is divided between his responsibilities as a father and his obligations to the company. He has been confronted with difficulties in the past, but this one feels different. I get a sense of intimacy. While Ridge and Thomas are at odds with one another on the course that the fashion line should take, the rest of the Forrester family becomes involved in the struggle. Although Steffi, who has always been the voice of reason, makes an effort to mediate, it appears that she is unable to bridge the increasing divide. In an effort to save the family, Brooke is fighting. In the midst of the conflict that is taking place in the boardroom between the Forrester men, Brooke Logan finds herself engaged in a new type of conflict. As someone who has always been willing to look out for her family, Brooke is becoming increasingly concerned about the implications of this most recent battle for the future of Forrester Creations, as well as for her marriage to Ridge. The relationship between Brooke and Ridge has always been an unstable one. Nevertheless, in recent times, the strain of both professional and personal concerns has brought them to the verge of breaking down. Brooke, who has never been shy about expressing her contempt for Thomas, often finds herself in a difficult position because she is torn between her allegiance to Ridge and her hatred of his son. In a scene that breaks the heart in the middle of the week, Brooke tells Ridge, "I love you, but I can't ignore the fact that Thomas is destroying everything that we fought so hard to achieve. I am aware of the fact that he poses a threat." Ridge is worn out from the never-ending conflict, and he makes an effort to soothe her. "Brooke, I am doing everything that I possibly can. However, Thomas is my own son. I can't just ignore him like that." Brooke's expression is a combination of agony and frustration on her face. At the same time that she is aware that Ridge is conflicted, she is also aware that Thomas has a history of being manipulative and reckless. When it comes to Brooke, this is not just about the company. Rather, it is about safeguarding the family that she has worked so hard to become a contributor to. Their disagreement is not settled, and both parties feel as though they have not been heard. For the purpose of finding peace and guidance, Brooke goes to the residence of her daughter Hope. However, even Hope, who has her own difficult history with Thomas, is at a loss for what to do in this situation. What Steffi is facing. As a mother, a successful entrepreneur, and a fashion star, Steffi Forrester has always been a dominant presence within Forrester Creations. She was able to successfully balance all of these tasks. But Steffi is going to have to deal with one of the most difficult trials of her whole career this week. Steffi, who is currently in charge of the international branch of the company, has always had a distinct plan for the future of Forrester at all times. Nevertheless, as the disagreement between Ridge and Thomas continues to escalate, she finds herself trapped in the center of the battle. Although she has a deep affection for her father and a strong desire to show her support for his leadership, she is also aware that Thomas's vision for the fashion line is forward-thinking and has the ability to prevent the company from becoming stagnant. In a stressful meeting with Ridge, Steffi attempts to walk the delicate balance between supporting her father and acknowledging Thomas's brilliance. Ridge is a member of the leadership team. Steffi responds to her father with a controlled tone. "Dad, I understand where you're coming from. However, Thomas does have a point. We must maintain our competitive edge. The fashion industry is ever evolving, and if we do not adjust to these changes, we will fall behind." Ridge, despite the fact that he is obviously frustrated, listens to the viewpoint of his daughter. Because he is aware that Steffi is one of the most intelligent people at Forrester, he believes that her viewpoint is significant. However, he is also extremely worried about the potential consequences of allowing Thomas to take the initiative. Steffi, on the other hand, is divided between her undying devotion to her father and her conviction that the organization must undergo a transformation. For the majority of the week, she confides in her brother-in-law, Liam, who is a sympathetic ear to listen to her vent her frustrations. In a moment of relative silence, Liam informs her, "You have always been the one who has been responsible for keeping everything together. On the other hand, this is not solely your responsibility. You are not required to find solutions to everything on your own." Steffi is unable to shake the notion that the future of Forrester Creations is entirely contingent upon her, despite the fact that Liam has provided her with reassurances. Bill Spencer is back with a new face. In the middle of the chaos that is occurring at Forrester Creations, an unexpected figure named Bill Spencer makes his way back to the scene. From the beginning, the relationship between the cutthroat media mogul and the Forresters, and more specifically Ridge and Brooke, has been fraught with tension. On the other hand, Bill's comeback this week is accompanied by a covert reasoning. It has been brought to Bill's attention that Forrester Creations is experiencing internal strife, and he perceives this as an opportunity to seize the moment and capitalize on the company's fragility. Bill describes his strategy to purchase a majority stake in the design firm at a private meeting with Justin Barber, who has been his long-standing associate. This is what Bill says with a sneer on his face. "Forrester is on the verge of collapse. When it does fall, I will be there to pick up the pieces and put it back together again." Even though Justin is doubtful, he is aware that it is not appropriate to dispute Bill's instincts. With Bill's sights set squarely on the Forrester family's most valued item, the two men begin to build the framework for an aggressive takeover of the company. However, Bill's comeback is not solely for business purposes. The events that have transpired this week are further compounded by the fact that he has a convoluted past with Brooke. A confrontation with Brooke regarding the growing problem at Forrester Creations takes place when Bill pays her a visit at her home without her knowledge. Bill replies, "I'm not here to gloat, Brooke," with a voice that is noticeably lower than ordinary. "It's because I care that I'm here. We've been through a lot together, both you and I. Aside from that, I don't want you to be in pain." Even though Brooke is mistrustful of Bill's motives, she is unable to ignore the truth in what he has said. She is aware that Bill still has feelings for her, but she is also firmly dedicated to Ridge, despite the fact that their marriage is in a precarious position. Brooke is left wondering whether Bill's return is actually about business, or whether there is anything more personal at play, as their talk comes to a close on a note that is uncertain. A disturbing transgression. At Forrester Creations, the tensions are reaching a point where they are about to explode as the week continues. Thomas, overcome with annoyance at the fact that his father does not fully support his ideas, takes a courageous step. Thomas proposes a collaboration to Sally Spectra in a covert meeting. This relationship has the potential to influence the future of Forrester Creations, and it also has the potential to destroy the company. Thomas's offer piques Sally's interest because she has never been a part of the Forrester world and has considered herself an outsider. She is aware that aligning herself with him could provide her with the power that she has always desired, but she is also aware that doing so would mean betraying the family that has provided her with a redemption. During their conversation, Sally acknowledges to Thomas, "I've always been on the outside looking in. However, if we end up doing this, there is no turning back." Despite his reputation as a manipulator, Thomas reassures her, "Sally, this is our only opportunity. Forrester Creations is capable of reaching new heights with our help, and when we do, there will be no one who can stop us from doing it. The alliance is accepted by Sally, despite her initial reluctance. However, none other than Quinn Forrester, who overhears their chat and learns the full scope of Thomas's betrayal, quickly discovers their partnership. Quinn Forrester is the one who discovers their connection. Quinn is confronted with a challenging decision due to the fact that her relationship with Thomas has always been fraught with complexities. By revealing his plan to Ridge, does she run the risk of causing the family to become estranged? Or does she choose to remain silent, despite the fact that she is aware that Thomas's desire may ultimately result in the failure of Forrester Creations? The position that Quinn holds is made abundantly evident during a tense confrontation with Thomas. Although you may believe that you are in command, you are actually playing with fire. Not only that, but when everything comes crumbling down, you can't say that I didn't warn you. Thomas, on the other hand, is not deterred, because he is certain that his collaboration with Sally is the most important factor in ensuring that he maintains his position at the top of Forrester Creations. He is willing to put everything on the line in order to make this happen.